Welcome back to Brockton's Celestial Forge by Lord Roustabout, Part 4 of Chapter 3. When we last left off, uh, the MC had just finished buying up regents and equipment for his first night out as a cape. That night out didn't begin until after 11 o'clock. I may not have had a full suite of tinker powers, but it seemed I had enough that it was disturbingly easy to lose track of time in my workshop. The technical knowledge and machine skills from Black Thumb allowed me to work to a much higher level of quality, even outside of vehicles. There was enough experience with detailing and bodywork in that skill set that, when combined with the aesthetic skills from my previous ability, allowed some truly impressive design work. That was why I had a mask now. In my own opinion, it was actually a pretty great mask. It contoured to my face perfectly and matched the vaguely sleek and streamlined theme I had managed with my bracer. The entire thing sat close enough that my vision wasn't significantly affected, and when combined with one bandana tied over my head and another across my nose and mouth, it gave me a striking appearance. It was kind of like a modern take on a knight's visor, though the protection aspect was less important than the ability to conceal my identity. I'd added a few metal details on my coat as well. Not enough to weigh myself down, just enough to communicate I was in a costume. For some reason, the skills from Black Thumb really liked the look of shiny metal, particularly chrome. I'd done the best with what I had in my metal workshop and found a balance. Enough metal to create a distinct look, but not enough to turn me into the walking hood ornament Black Thumb would have wanted. Sorry. Walking was an apt word to use here. I'd only been out for a few minutes when I decided foot patrols were for chumps. Unfortunately, none of my alchemist formulas helped with the mobility. Well, one might have, but that was what I needed for that weird pepper pour. As bad as a bad reputation as Brockton Bay had for crime, it seemed you couldn't just take an evening walk and hope to stumble across it. After an hour of wandering around, I started to wonder what the point of this was. I guess I was showing the flag, so to speak, but other than spooking a few people in the street, I hadn't done much. I could always head into the heart of a gang's territory and hope that my presence triggered some kind of response, but as good as my defenses were, I didn't want to risk that. I might be highly resistant to damage, but I could be captured or locked down fairly easily. If I got swarmed, I would have to resort to dark alchemy to get out of it, and that meant a series of maiming at the very best. The kind of energy I could throw out was not something to be used lightly. So the walk around randomly planned was definitely a bust. If I wanted to actually make a difference, I'd need to go out with proper objectives. That meant research, scouting, and information gathering and planning. All stuff I didn't have time for with my work, training, crafting schedule. I see why so many tinkers end up on teams. Maybe I could get a police radio. If I listened to dispatches, I might be able to use that to respond to serious incidents. Would dispatches even sent over open broadcasts anymore? It was probably encoded, or at least digital. If I had better tech abilities, I could probably crack it, but my current skill set wouldn't be helpful. So all I was accomplishing tonight was walking around in a costume and feeling like a badass. Frankly, I was okay with that. I'm not bringing down a villain or stop a major crime, but I know that I could have. Being out here was something positive, both for the city and for my Cape career. All that rationalization fell away when the sound of breaking glass reached me. Yes, I was okay with nothing happening, but if something did, there was no way I was going to miss it. My coat flew behind me as I broke into a sprint. My belts, bandolier, and holsters were secured enough that they kept stable while I ran, but the reverse regents in my coat pockets were bouncing uncomfortably with each step. I need to scale those down in the future. I rounded a corner and nearly collided with a man in a black bodysuit and red demon mask who appeared in front of me. Literally appeared, as in teleportation. Rather than turn to face me, he kept his attention on the masked of shadows that concealed a nearby alley mouth and damaged storefront. Instead, a copy of him appeared facing me as the first kept watch on the shadows. I could see large shapes moving within the dark mass and hear the scraping of claws on pavement and broken glass. But I could also see the demon ninja in front of me, Oni Lee. I knew how dangerous he was and his reputation for violence. I didn't know if this was a hero-villain fight or if he was going up against another criminal. Either way, he was still a threat, both to me and the city. Did I want to do this? Was I ready to do this? Probably not, but that wasn't going to stop me. I stared down the demon mask for a handful of seconds as neither of us made a move. Then I shifted my stance, drew my club, and suddenly it was on. Oni Lee was a much better fighter than me. It was evident by the way the fight opened with an arm reaching from behind me and drawing a knife across my neck. With the steel hard durability of my bracer extending through my body, the blade came away without drawing blood, but the sensation was distinctly unpleasant. I swung my club back and tried to catch the ninja, but he rolled out of the way of my clumsy swipes and lunged forward with repeated strikes. The knife bounced off in every instance without so much as fraying the fabric of my coat, and definitely stepped out of the reach of any return blows from my baton. More clones started appearing around me, swinging with different weapons. Stilettos, combat knives, machetes, and a hatchet all bounced off, or skidded off, as I weathered the hail of blades and desperately tried to score a return hit. I'm going to have to stop there because my throat is dying, if you can't tell. But, hey, first cliffhanger in the middle of a fight. Thanks for listening.